On the morning of June 4, 1996, Kudirat Abiola, wife of Chief MKO Abiola, was brutally assassinated at the 7-Up bus stop on Oregon Road in Ikeja while on her way to the Canadian High Commission in Lagos. Under Abacha's regime, arrests were made and suspects linked to the security apparatus were detained. Abacha's son, Mohamed Abacha, was also detained. Yet no transparent investigation was ever conducted. Although 2 suspects were initially sentenced to death by hanging for the murder of Kudirat and her driver, both convictions were acquitted on appeal in 2013 due to lack of sufficient evidence, despite earlier confessions and detailed testimonies. The 2 were released on appeal by a court in Lagos. This video examines what the courts ultimately rejected, why a confessed assassination still produced no accountability, and the real names behind the gruesome killing of Kudirat. Watch till the end to uncover what really led to her death, and why this operation was carried out in the first place. We will also reveal a shocking confession made in 2025 linking to Kudirat's death. But before we go deeper, please like this video and share. Thanks. The Abacha's regime was one of Nigeria's darkest and brutal military regime. Under his regime, lives were destroyed and silenced. In 1994, MKO Abiola was detained and charged with treason after declaring himself president following the annulled June 12th election. In 1995, Alfred Rawan, a financial backer of the opposition National Democratic Coalition, was murdered at his home in Ikeja, Lagos. On November that same year, Ken Saro-Wiwa, the renowned writer and activist, was executed by hanging to crush his environmental activism and political dissent. In February 1996, Alex Ibru, a former minister in General Abacha's government and publisher of the liberal Guardian newspaper, was shot and wounded. Then came the death of Kudirat Abiola in 1996, which many Nigerians view as one of the most shocking consequences of Abacha's brutal rule. Take a seat and stay with me as we uncover the truths that have been buried for decades. Now, let's go deeper. Kudirat Olayinka Adeyemi was born in 1951 in Zaria in Nigeria. She was the second woman to have married Moshood Abiola. Moshood Abiola was a businessman from Ogun State. He contested the presidential election on June 12, 1993, under the Social Democratic Party, SDP. That election was widely regarded as the freest, fairest, and most credible in Nigerian history, with Abiola believed to have won. Defeated Bashir Tofa, the National Republican Convention (NRC) candidate from Kano State. According to results compiled before the annulment, Abiola won 19 out of Nigeria's 30 states with over 8 million votes, including Kano State. The 1993 election was the first to use the Option A4 and open ballot system introduced by Professor Humphrey Nwosu, then chairman of the National Electoral Commission. Despite credible results, the election was annulled by General Ibrahim Babangida's regime on June 23, 1993, citing vague allegations of electoral irregularities, triggering a national crisis and protests. A year after the annulled election, Abiola declared himself president of Nigeria during a speech at Epetido, Lagos Island. This act of defiance led to his arrest by the military government of General Sani Abacha, and he was detained without trial for 4 years. While in detention, Kudirat effectively became the face of the June 12th struggle, making her a strategic target. She tireless advocate for her husband's freedom and return of his mandate, but all to no avail. She was denied all access to her husband. Kudirat gave interviews on several occasions to the foreign and Nigerian press, in which she called for her husband's release and accused the government of destroying her family financially. Kudirat also played a key role in organizing and sustaining the oil workers' strike in 1994. In December 1995, she marched for freedom alongside prominent nationalists like Chief Anthony Enahoro, braving military bullets and threats to her life. On the 8th of May 1996, about a month before Kudirat was assassinated, she was arrested. The Lagos High Court acquitted her of charges of conspiracy and alleged possessing publications critical of the Abacha government. Sadly, her activism made her a marked woman. On Tuesday, 4th of June 1996, Kudirat was on her way to the Canadian High Commission in Lagos. She was in a white Mercedes-Benz, driven by her driver Dauda Atanda and accompanied by her personal assistant Lateef Shofolahan. Around 9:30 a.m. at the 7-Up bus stop on Oregon Road in Ikeja, 2 cars double-crossed them, and 6 heavily armed men opened fire on Kudirat Abiola's car. She was shot at point-blank range, and her driver was also injured. Kudirat lost consciousness and was rushed to the Echo Hospital on Mobolaji Bank, Anthony Way in Ikeja for urgent medical attention. All efforts made by the medical team to save her life failed. Kudirat Abiola eventually died between 12:15 and 12:30 p.m. She died at the age of 44 with a gaping bullet wound on her forehead. Her driver, too, did not survive the attack. Suspiciously, Kudirat's personal assistant, Lateef Shofolahan, escaped the attack unhurt. He was later accused of being involved in the murder plot of Kudirat. The plotters allegedly penetrated her network through her personal assistant. Her murder sent shockwaves across the nation, and the Abacha military government offered the sum of $45,000 to anyone who could give information leading to the arrest of the assassins. Let's go deeper to the part they never wanted you to hear. In October 1998, Major Hamza al-Mustafa, who was Abacha's chief security officer, and Lateef Shofolahan were arraigned in court for the assassination. Investigations into the killing traced the killer's bullets to Hamza al-Mustafa's personal armory. He and Abacha's son, Mohammed Abacha, were both charged with the death of Kudirat Abiola. At the trial, the self-confessed killer, Sergeant Barnabas Jabala, aka Sergeant Rogers, admitted that he was obeying orders from his superior, Hamza al-Mustafa. Mohammed Abdul, one of the Kudirat assassins, who drove the car which trailed Kudirat, also testified that Kudirat's assassination was carried out on orders of al-Mustafa, and also that Mohammed Abacha directed him to join the assassination squad, with Alhaji Lateef Shofolahan providing information to 5 gunmen on her whereabouts. In the court, Mohammed Abdul also narrated how Mohammed Abacha gave him and other gunmen $10,000 to flee the country when Obasanjo's government began an investigation into Kudirat Abiola's assassination. In May 2001, a federal high court in Abuja freed Mohammed Abacha on the grounds that he was simply roped in on circumstantial evidence. On 30 June 2012, Hamza al-Mustafa and Alhaji Lateef Shofolahan were sentenced to be hanged for the murder of Kudirat. The 2 were later released on appeal by a court in Lagos. Others who were jailed on suspicion of roles in Abiola's assassination would be eventually released without receiving convictions as well. Kudirat Abiola remains a symbol of Nigeria's struggle for democracy. 19 years after her death, there were demonstrations at her graveside. A documentary, The Supreme Price, details the story of how both Kudirat and her husband paid a terrible cost in their quest for a better, freer Nigeria. It was directed by Joanna Lipper, a lecturer at Harvard University. So till date, there hasn't been justice on Kudirat Abiola's assassination, and her death remains one of the top assassinations in Nigeria. Thanks for watching to this very end. Share your thoughts in the comment section. And don't forget to like this video.